And it's a new study, but unfortunately has the same results. Milwaukee continues to be the worst city in the country for African Americans.
But as Shaun Gallagher shows us, the city is hoping to use this moment as the turning point to a better tomorrow.
This new study points to 65 different factors where Milwaukee ranks in the bottom 10 for quality of life for African Americans. But some of them are even worse than they were 50 years ago when the Civil Rights Act was first signed.
I literally felt sick.
It wasn't a surprise, but Alderman Khalif Rainey was demoralized hearing yet again that Milwaukee is the worst place in the country for people who look like him. The study, led by University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee professor Mark LEVINE.
So I think segregation at first, and then the ones I mentioned at the beginning of my remarks. I think income and earnings and mobility.
LEVINE presented his study to the Milwaukee Common Council's Community and Economic Development Committee Wednesday afternoon. The statistics in the study are startling. Milwaukee is segregated at a rate 34% higher than the national average. Money is a problem too. 40 years ago, African Americans here made about 58 cents to the dollar of the median white household. That's dropped to 42 cents. It's resulted in the highest poverty rate for African Americans in the country. 1 in 7 Milwaukee African Americans lives in extreme poverty.
The statistics are not in charge of the future. They just should help us, motivate us to get there.
Andre Lee Ellis is a community leader. He's mentored thousands of troubled Milwaukee youth. He knows the potential for African Americans, though, in Milwaukee.
And it's not all about money. It's more about honey. Provide a little more love. And I think that we'll see a lot of this stuff begin to vanish. I'm optimistic that change is coming.
That change is now. The city of Milwaukee has developed an Office of African American Affairs and are committed to making all decisions through a racial equity lens.
If we develop those alternatives, and if as a political community we mobilize, then perhaps more enlightened corporate leadership will come along.
Because it's not simply a conversation to be had with elected leadership. It's a conversation that has to be had with private sector leaders and other leaders in our community who actually can move the needle forward for Black people in this city.
All of these statistics were taken in a pre-COVID world. So Professor LEVINE says if serious action is not taken, African Americans will suffer most in Milwaukee. In Milwaukee, Shaun Gallagher, TMJ4 News.